So coming to you again, Cookies at 2 podcast, Angie Malone Agency, Farmers Insurance. I am located in St. Paul, Roseville area, and you can find me at angiemaloneagency.com. Today, I have a guest with me who I had actually in a previous episode, Paul St. Andrew. He is with Remax Results, located in Minneapolis.
Hi, Angie. Nice
Hi.
to see you again.
All right. So what is your website again, Paul?
MinnesotaHomesales.com.
Excellent. Okay. So Paul is a great resource for me and my clients. He works with buying and selling homes in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, and wherever we can connect via internet, right?
Right.
These days. So we are in the midst of the upcoming selling season is starting to take hold.
It's been rolling.
Yeah.
It's been rolling. Yes. Can you see all the black under my eyes here from lack of sleep? It's a really fun time and a busy time for sure. The spring market is always exciting and interesting, and I tell people that it usually we've been in the midst of it for quite a while now. It usually starts about the day after the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
And we're right in it. We're rolling. So
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a lot of activity, a lot of buyers out there looking, and inventory as it has been, in the previous many months is still quite low. So they're kicking and shoving and punching each other out to get a house these days, it seems like,
Right.
Yeah.
The rush is on.
The rush is on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and as that happens, I'm sure you see it in your industry too. I mean, you're probably getting a lot of phone calls. There's first-time home buyers are at an all-time high right now, and they come loaded with questions. Yes, they do. They do for sure.
It's good. We like questions, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
The more informed, the better
Yeah.
they feel, the better we feel.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's good. I mean, it's about the most, for many people, myself included, it's, your home is one of your biggest investments by far.
Mm-hmm.
And to ask those questions and to start early, I try to coach my clients always, if as soon as we write a purchase agreement and get an accepted offer, let's contact the people that we need to contact,
Yes.
And start that dialogue and those conversations. And, at the top of the list is always, the Angie Malone Agency. Let's get a hold of our insurance person, and
Sure.
let's
Sit down and talk about that stuff.
Sit down and figure that out, because there's a whole lot that goes into writing these policies, I am sure.
Yes. Though it is just a number on the purchase agreement, a final number, you can't always focus just on that number. You got to figure out how is that arrived upon.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul, his numbers are different than my numbers, so he has market value numbers for your home. I have reconstruction numbers for your home. I have liability numbers for your home. So all kinds of different
all kinds
things.
of different, and they'll never be the same.
Right.
Those numbers,
Yes.
That's for sure. Yeah, the market will dictate what you pay for the house, but you put so much more into it as far as replacement costs, and you look at a much broader scope where we just look at what is this home worth today.
Sure.
And I'm sure there's other things that you need to pay attention to too, and I have clients that, I just sold a house here in the western suburbs not long ago, and the guy, he specifically bought a house with a big outbuilding.
Sure.
Because he has a lot of stuff. He has boats. He has he has an RV. He has four-wheelers. And
Yes.
the list goes on.
Right.
So that's all part of your.
That's all part of our house at our and my office. We talk about what other coverages you need. Do you have a hitch on that truck? Okay, what are you pulling? So we want to ensure that. And all that stuff comes into play because a lot of people misunderstand that. Sometimes they think, well, if it's parked at my house, it's covered under my home insurance. Well, that's not necessarily the case. If it is a registered on-road vehicle or off-road vehicle, all those kinds of scenarios, they may have to carry their own policies. So you want to dive into all those segments and, again, take your time. Like Paul says, start the conversation earlier so you can make sure you have all the coverages you need. before closing day and you're worried about, oh, how much is this going to cost me? Now I'm mad about the number. Well, it's not really about the number. It's making sure we have the protection.
Right, exactly, yeah. Because when, God forbid, hopefully not when, but if something does happen, it's not going to be any fun, no matter what. But at least to have the right coverage and to have a solid insurance agent, that's standing next to you.
Pick up the phone.
Pick you up. It's there when you pick up the phone. It'll really help. It'll really help. Because you have everything else. The sky, you feel like the sky is falling, but at least here's this person that'll come in, and you'll have the financial ability to take care of whatever happens.
Yes.
And
it's the peace of mind. The peace of mind is part of the package.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. So with that said, you have peace of mind with your realtor. He knows what the house entails. He knows, all the features of the home. Okay, is this a good fit for my client? You have that trust with Paul. And at the same time, you have that trust with your agent. And that's where we love to engage in that trust with you, partner with you to make sure you do feel good about all those things. And you do have the peace of mind when your head hits the pillow.
Right. No, it is. It's really important. I think that's a big piece of the puzzle. People always, it seems we go through life and it's a service businesses that we're in, and it's, you hear more often than not, from people that have you hear these bad experiences. Oh, gee, this happened, and so to find that person, whether it's a realtor, an insurance person, a mechanic, anybody that can just any kind of a service industry person that actually can outperform your expectations.
Right.
They're gold.
Yeah.
They really are. They're gold, and so you need all this wonderful coverage, and you need to have good, solid coverage, but you also need, that insurance agent that's standing behind you and with you.
And I think you run into it too, probably, Paul. Obviously, a client can get online and check out 100 homes before they even talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
And I have people, well, I ran this quote online,
Mm-hmm.
And then I go in, or I ask them, what are the numbers? What are your coverages? And they're running minimums, and I'm like, well, this isn't going to pay for that house if it gets damaged, so all those kinds of things. That's why you need the agent.
Absolutely, yeah.
If Paul has the experience, I have the experience. You need somebody who understands what these numbers mean. What does the heating and the HVAC and all that mean for a house sale? Paul will understand that, whereas you looking online, you don't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it is, I personally, since I've been doing this for a little while, and it used to be that the way back when the realtors, we were the guardians of the information. It wasn't out there.
Right.
Zillow didn't exist.
Right.
And so people, they say on average, the average person buys a house every 7 years.
Okay.
They move from home to home.
Sure.
Okay, so if you're doing something once every 7 years, you're not going to really know. You had to really rely on that realtor, which was fine. But I think, it kind of gave, then people had bad experiences once in a while, and it gave us kind of a reputation of about a step or two below used car salesmen, which is great. Now it's the floodgate opened. All of this information is out there, and it's it's wonderful.
Right.
They can look. They can do that. You can see all of this stuff. People from in my industry, it's all out there. You don't have to really rely on me as far as what this house costs. The one thing that we do when that they find out that is really helpful is that, well, two things actually in my line of work, and I think there's probably similar things in yours too. But when we do go into a home, we can really, we touch it, we feel it, we can give it a hug. We know what's going on inside that house. And that's, I think I bring a little bit to the table there. And then also when we do write a purchase agreement on a house, or when we list it and get it under contract, if I'm selling it, the client can go off and do what they do every day and know that there's somebody in the background that's just managing the transaction and putting the pieces together that they need.
Yes.
And you mentioned that, somebody can go online and click up a quote for insurance, and that's not putting the pieces together that you need, because they don't really know what they need.
Right.
And to have somebody that has that experience like that you have, and to have somebody that can go off and do whatever they do, and that when you reach out to them, you'll have done your homework, and it'll be prepared, and you'll know about that person enough. I'm sure that you run into people all the time. We talked about the guys that have the boats and the guys that have this and that, but maybe they have expensive tastes.
Yeah.
And, and
maybe they have antiques.
Right.
But
yeah.
Maybe they have a special rug that's been an heirloom for, years. All that stuff comes into play even on a home insurance policy.
Yeah.
So,
and davesinsurancequotes.com or whatever site that they would go to, that's not going to be there.
Yes.
They're not able to figure that out.
Oh, well, we got this for, $800 a year. Let's go with it. Okay, well, is it covering all those fun things?
And, Yeah, which when hopefully they'll never use it, but if they do have to use their insurance, I mean... Yeah,
they know it's there.
They know it's there. And
yes,
that does feel good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. It's a fun time of year, and like Paul says, he's in the throngs of it as well already, starting from February. So it's a crazy time. It's an exciting time. But again, just to reiterate, take your time.
Absolutely.
With partnering with your agent like Paul, partnering with your insurance person like myself, then the information is out there. Like Paul says, it's available. But then then you partner with an agent, and then you arrive in a good place for you. So that's probably the most important thing. Is we like informed clients.
Well, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
a good discussion. They know what they need. They know the questions to ask. No question is a dumb question.
No.
So it's just a great conversation.
No, I think it makes our job easier.
Yes.
Absolutely. It makes our job that much easier that information is out there to a degree. And then they can come and they see you. And when they leave your office, they feel just that much more confident.
Yes.
That, gee, you know what? We did this online. Then we went to see Angie, and she showed us this and this and these things. And you know what? We walked out. We're going to have a good policy on our investments.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, that's awesome. Well, good luck in your selling season,
Thank
Paul.
you. Yeah. Boy, wish me luck. I think I'm going to wear all the leather off my shoes here by June.
Good. That's good. We like to be busy. So that's
right.
Awesome. Signing off again, another great episode with Paul, Angie Malone Agency, Cookies at 2, Farmers Insurance. And Paul?
Paul St. Andrew with RE/MAX Results.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.